Title. It's almost impossible to turn the friend zone around without this. Introduction, 350 words. Have you ever asked yourself this painful question? Why does the person I care about only see me as a friend? Even though my heart longs for something more. Many people silently carry this burden. You give your time, your attention, your kindness, and your loyalty. You listen to their problems, support them in their struggles, and stand beside them when others walk away. And yet somehow, despite all your effort, they still say those crushing words. You're such a good friend. The friend zone is one of the most confusing emotional spaces a person can experience. It's a place where affection exists, but attraction seems absent. It's where hope meets frustration, where kindness is often mistaken for romantic interest, and where many people begin to question their worth. Some start believing the lie that if they simply try harder, give more, or sacrifice more, love will eventually grow. But the truth is deeper than that. From a spiritual perspective, relationships were never meant to be built on silent suffering or hidden expectations. Love that is healthy, filling, and lasting must be built on clarity, honesty, and self-respect. When someone stays stuck in the friend zone, it often reveals a deeper issue. Not just about attraction, but about identity, confidence, and the boundaries we set in our lives. Too many people lose themselves trying to earn someone's love. They become overly available, overly agreeable, and overly accommodating. Instead of showing their true value, they slowly train the other person to see them only as emotional support rather than a romantic partner. But here is the powerful truth. Turning the friend zone around is not about manipulation, tricks, or pretending to be someone you're not. It is about transformation. It is about understanding what truly creates attraction and learning how to carry yourself with dignity, purpose, and confidence. Today, we will explore 5 powerful truths, 5 key principles that reveal why the friend zone happens and what must change if you ever hope to shift the dynamic. Because without this one essential transformation, escaping the friend zone is almost impossible. Keynote 1, stop trying to earn love through endless giving. Many people fall into the friend zone because they believe love can be earned through constant giving. They think if they are kind enough, helpful enough, patient enough, the other person will eventually realize their worth. But relationships do not work like transactions. True attraction is not created by overgiving. It is created by emotional balance. When one person gives endlessly while expecting nothing in return, the relationship begins to feel one-sided. Instead of creating attraction, it often creates comfort and dependency. A healthy relationship requires mutual investment. When you constantly place someone else's needs above your own, you unintentionally communicate that your time and attention have little value. Over time, the other person begins to see you not as a potential partner, but as a safe and reliable friend. This is why self-respect is essential. When you value yourself, you naturally create boundaries. You stop chasing approval and begin living with purpose. Ironically, when people see that you are not desperate for their validation, your presence becomes more attractive. Keynote 2. Attraction requires confidence, not just kindness. Kindness is important in relationships, but kindness alone does not create romantic attraction. Many people in the friend zone are extremely kind, supportive, and caring. Yet, they struggle to be seen as romantic partners because confidence is missing. Confidence changes how people perceive you. It influences the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the energy you bring to a conversation. People are naturally drawn to individuals who know their value and express themselves with clarity. So without confidence, kindness can sometimes be mistaken for neediness. But when confidence and kindness exist together, they create a powerful presence. Confidence also means being honest about your intentions. Instead of hiding your feelings out of fear, confident individuals communicate openly and respectfully. Since they do not pretend to be just friends, kulfi when their heart desires something more. Keynote 3. Clarity is better than silent hope. One of the biggest mistakes people make in the friend zone is waiting. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for the other person to notice them. They wait for years hoping feelings will magically change. But silent hope rarely transforms relationships. Clarity brings freedom. When you express your feelings respectfully, you remove the confusion that often traps people in emotional limbo. The other person now understands your intentions, and both of you can decide what direction the relationship should take. Sometimes the answer may not be what you hoped for. Clarity is still a gift because it prevents you from investing years of emotional energy. in a relationship that will never become what you desire. Keynote 4. Attraction grows when you have your own purpose. Another reason people remain stuck in the friend zone is that their life begins revolving around the person they like. Their schedule, emotions, and attention become centered on one individual. But attraction often grows when someone sees that your life is already full and meaningful. Purpose is attractive. When you are focused on your goals, your growth, your faith, and your future, you naturally become more interesting and more confident. People respect those who live with direction. Instead of chasing someone's attention, build a life that naturally attracts respect and admiration. Keynote 5, be willing to walk away. This is perhaps the hardest truth of all. Sometimes the friend zone cannot be changed. Not every connection is meant to become a romantic relationship. Some people truly value you as a friend and nothing more. And while that may hurt, accepting reality is often the healthiest choice. Walking away does not mean bitterness. It means choosing peace and self-respect. It means understanding that you deserve a relationship where your feelings are returned with equal intensity. When you release what is not meant for you, you create space for the relationship that truly is. Conclusion: the friend zone is not simply about rejection. It is often a reflection of how we present ourselves, how we value ourselves, and how clearly we communicate our intentions. Trying harder, giving more, or waiting longer rarely changes the dynamic. What truly changes things is transformation, developing confidence, living with purpose, setting healthy boundaries, and speaking with honesty. When you stop chasing approval and start living with dignity, something powerful happens. Either the relationship begins to shift, or you gain the strength to move forward towards something better. And sometimes the greatest act of love is not convincing someone to choose you, but choosing yourself. Have you ever asked yourself this painful question? Why does the person I care about only see me as a friend, even though my heart longs for something more? Many people silently carry this burden. You should give your time, your attention, your kindness, and your loyalty. You listen to their problems, support them in their struggles, and stand beside them when others walk away. Yet somehow, despite all your effort, they still say those crushing words, "You're such a good friend." The friend zone is one of the most confusing emotional spaces a person can experience. It's a place where affection exists, but attraction seems absent. It's where hope meets frustration, where kindness is often mistaken for romantic interest, and where many people begin to question their worth. Some start believing the lie that if they simply try harder, give more, or sacrifice more, love will eventually grow. But the truth is deeper than that. From a spiritual perspective, relationships were never meant to be built on silent suffering or hidden expectations. So love that is healthy, fulfilling, and lasting must be built on clarity, honesty, and self-respect. When someone stays stuck in the friend zone, it often reveals a deeper issue, not just about attraction, but about identity, confidence, and the boundaries we set in our lives. Too many people lose themselves trying to earn someone's love. They become overly available, overly agreeable, and overly accommodating. Instead of showing their true value, they slowly train the other person to see them only as emotional support rather than a romantic partner. But here's the powerful truth. Turning the friend zone around is not about manipulation, tricks, or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about transformation. It is about understanding what truly creates attraction and learning how to carry yourself with dignity, purpose, and confidence. Today, we will explore 5 powerful truths, 5 key principles that reveal why the friend zone happens and what must change if you ever hope to shift the dynamic. Because without this one essential transformation, escaping the friend zone is almost impossible. Many people enter the friend zone because they believe love can be earned through endless giving. They believe that if they show enough kindness, enough loyalty, enough patience, the other person will eventually open their eyes and realize how valuable they are. They become the one who is always available, always supportive, always ready to listen. When the other person is sad, they're there. When the other person needs help, they show up without hesitation. When the other person struggles in life or in relationships, they become the emotional support system. In their mind, every act of generosity is like planting a seed of love that will someday grow into romance. But the painful truth is that relationships do not grow this way. Love is not a reward for service, and attraction is not built on sacrifice alone. When someone gives endlessly without expressing their true intentions or protecting their own emotional needs, the relationship slowly becomes unbalanced. One person becomes the giver, the helper, the supporter, while the other becomes the receiver. Instead of building romantic tension, this dynamic creates comfort and familiarity. And comfort without attraction often turns into friendship rather than love. can't be filled in this situation begin to lose their sense of self without even realizing it. They start prioritizing the other person's happiness above their own. They cancel their plans to be available. They hide their own feelings because they are afraid of losing the friendship. Okay, they say yes to everything because they think saying no might push the person away. Slowly, their identity becomes tied to pleasing someone else. So the danger in this pattern is that it communicates something powerful without words. It tells the other person that your time, your attention, and your emotional energy are always available without limit. Instead of increasing your value, it unintentionally lowers the sense of mystery and challenge that often contributes to attraction. Human nature tends to appreciate what feels meaningful and earned. When everything is freely given without balance, it's its emotional impact. This is why self-respect becomes a turning point. When you respect yourself, you begin to understand that your kindness should never come at the cost of your dignity. You still remain caring and compassionate, but you stop overextending yourself in hopes of earning love. You set quiet but powerful boundaries. You allow space in the relationship instead of filling every moment with effort. Something interesting often happens when this shift occurs. When people see that you value your own time and emotional energy, they begin to perceive you differently. Presence feels more intentional rather than automatic. Your kindness feels genuine rather than desperate. You are no longer trying to prove your worth. Instead, you are simply living with confidence in who you are. Healthy love grows where two people invest in each other equally. It grows where both individuals bring value, respect, and honesty into the relationship. When you stop trying to buy affection with endless giving, you open the door for something far more powerful: mutual desire, genuine interest, and a connection built on balance rather than sacrifice. Kindness is one of the most beautiful qualities a person can have. It reflects compassion, empathy, and a genuine desire to care for others. In any healthy relationship, kindness is essential because it creates emotional safety and trust. However, many people mistakenly believe that kindness alone is enough to create romantic attraction. They think that if they are gentle, supportive, and understanding, the other person will eventually see them as the perfect partner. Unfortunately, relationships are more complex than that, and kindness without confidence often fails to create the spark that transforms friendship into romance. This is one of the main reasons people find themselves trapped in the friend zone. They offer endless kindness but struggle to show the confidence that naturally inspires attraction. They hesitate to express their opinions, they avoid taking emotional risks, and they often suppress their true feelings because they are afraid of rejection. Instead of speaking honestly about what they want, they remain silent and hope the other person will somehow notice their devotion. But confidence changes everything. Confidence is not arrogance, and it is not about dominating others. True confidence is quiet strength. It is the ability to stand firmly in who you are without constantly seeking approval. When someone carries themselves with confidence, they naturally communicate that they value themselves and their place in the world. This energy is powerful because it shows emotional stability and self-awareness. When confidence is missing, kindness can sometimes be misunderstood. Instead of appearing strong and attractive, it may come across as neediness or insecurity. If someone constantly agrees with everything, constantly prioritizes the other person's needs, and constantly avoids expressing their own desires, the relationship begins to feel unbalanced. The other person may appreciate the kindness, but appreciation does not always lead to romantic interest. Confidence also means being honest about your intentions. Confidence also means being honest about your intentions. And many people hide their romantic feelings behind friendship because they fear losing the connection entirely. They pretend to be satisfied with a purely friendly relationship, even though their heart desires something deeper. Over time, this silence creates confusion and emotional tension. The other person believes the relationship is purely platonic, while the one hiding their feelings continues to hope for something more. A confident person approaches the situation differently. Instead of hiding their emotions, they communicate with clarity and respect. They express interest without pressure, allowing the other person the freedom to respond honestly. This kind of honesty may feel risky, but it is also liberating. It removes the uncertainty that keeps people stuck in emotional limbo for months or even years. Confidence also influences the way people carry themselves in everyday life. It shows in posture, tone of voice, eye contact, and the ability to remain calm in uncertain situations. Small signals communicate self-belief. When someone believes in their own worth, others are more likely to see that worth as well. Kindness and confidence together create a powerful balance. Kindness shows warmth and compassion, while confidence shows strength and self-respect. When these two qualities exist together, they form a presence that naturally draws people in. Instead of appearing as someone who is simply supportive and dependable, you become someone who is both emotionally safe and deeply attractive. This balance is what often transforms the way people perceive you. Instead of being seen only as a good friend, you begin to be seen as a complete person, someone who can offer care, honesty, strength, and emotional depth within a romantic relationship. One of the most common reasons people remain stuck in the friend zone is the habit of silent hope. They carry strong feelings in their heart, but they never express them. Instead, they wait. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect sign that the other person might feel the same way. Days turn into months, and sometimes months turn into years. During all this time, they continue investing emotionally, believing that their patience and loyalty will eventually change the other person's perspective. But silent hope rarely transforms relationships. In fact, it often deepens the misunderstanding between two people. When you never communicate your true feelings, the other person naturally assumes that the relationship is exactly what it appears to be, a friendship. They grow comfortable in that dynamic, and over time, it becomes the normal pattern between both of you. What you see as romantic potential, they see as a safe and dependable friendship. This is why clarity is so powerful. Clarity removes confusion and replaces uncertainty with honesty. When you express your intentions respectfully, you create an opportunity for truth to enter the relationship. The other person can finally understand how you feel, and both of you are able to evaluate the relationship with open eyes instead of hidden expectations. Many people fear this moment because they are afraid of rejection. They worry that if they reveal their feelings, the friendship might end. That fear can feel overwhelming, especially if the connection already means a great deal to them. But living in silence carries its own form of pain. When emotions remain hidden, every interaction becomes emotionally complicated. You may feel jealous when they talk about someone else they like, or hurt when they treat you purely as a friend. The longer the silence continues, the heavier that emotional burden becomes. Clarity, even when it is uncomfortable, brings freedom. When you speak honestly, you no longer have to pretend or hide your intentions. You give the other person the respect of knowing the truth, and you give yourself the dignity of living authentically. If the feelings are mutual, your courage can open the door to a deeper relationship. But even if the answer is not what you hope for, you gain something equally valuable: understanding. Understanding allows you to move forward instead of remaining trapped in uncertainty. You can decide whether the friendship still feels healthy for you or whether it is better to create some emotional distance. Either way, you are no longer living in a place of unanswered questions. There is also something powerful about honest communication. It demonstrates maturity, self-awareness, and confidence. Speaking your truth calmly and respectfully shows that you value yourself and the other person enough to be transparent about your emotions. This kind of clarity often earns respect even if the romantic feelings are not returned. In life, many people regret the chances they never took more than the ones they did. Silence may feel safe in the moment, but it often leads to long-term regret. Clarity may feel risky, but it gives you the chance to build relationships based on honesty instead of assumptions. And in the journey of love, honesty is always a stronger foundation than silent hope. Another powerful reason people remain stuck in the friend zone is that their life slowly begins to revolve around the person they are hoping to impress. Their time, attention, and emotional energy become centered on that one individual. They constantly check their phone, waiting for messages, rearrange their schedule just to be available, and often prioritize the other person's needs above their own goals and responsibilities. First, this behavior may feel like devotion, but over time it can quietly weaken the sense of attraction within the relationship. When someone becomes the center of your world, you unintentionally send a message that your life lacks direction without them. Instead of appearing confident and independent, you begin to appear dependent on their attention. Human nature tends to admire people who are moving forward with purpose. When someone sees that your life is already full of ambition, growth, and meaningful pursuits, they naturally begin to respect you more deeply. Purpose gives a person a different kind of energy. It changes the way they think, the way they speak, and and the way they carry themselves. A person who is focused on personal growth, career goals, spiritual development, and meaningful relationships does not feel the need to chase validation from others. They're already moving forward with intention. This sense of direction becomes attractive because it shows stability and self-respect. Many people make the mistake of believing that constantly being available will make them more desirable. They answer every message immediately, agree to every request, and make sure they're always present whenever the other person calls. But when someone becomes too predictable and too available, the sense of excitement in the relationship begins to fade. Instead of building curiosity or intrigue, the dynamic becomes routine. On the other hand, when you invest in your own life, your presence becomes more meaningful. You are not ignoring the other person, but you are also not abandoning your own journey just to gain their attention. Spend time developing your talents, strengthening your friendships, pursuing your ambitions, and nurturing your faith and character. These choices create a life that feels rich and purposeful. When people see that you are growing and moving forward, they often begin to look at you differently. Instead of seeing you as someone waiting on the sidelines of their life, they see you as someone who is building a life of their own. That shift in perception can be powerful. It shows that you are not defined by one relationship or one person's approval. Living with purpose also protects your emotional well-being. When your happiness depends entirely on another person's response, your emotions become unstable. A simple message can lift your mood, while a delayed reply can cause anxiety or disappointment. But when your life is balanced with meaningful activities and goals, your emotional world becomes more stable in it. Grounded, a life built around purpose sends a silent but powerful message. You value your time, your growth, and your future. This kind of mindset does not push people away. Instead, it often draws them closer because it reflects strength and independence. In relationships, attraction often grows when both people feel inspired by each other's lives rather than dependent on each other for identity. Well, when you stop chasing attention and start building a life filled with direction and meaning, something remarkable happens. You begin to carry yourself differently. Your confidence grows naturally, your conversations become richer, and your presence feels more genuine. In many cases, this transformation alone can change the entire dynamic of how others see you. Perhaps the most difficult truth to accept when dealing with the friend zone is that sometimes the situation cannot be changed. Many people hold on to the hope that if they just try a little harder, wait a little longer, or prove their love more clearly, the other person will eventually see them differently. They believe persistence will transform friendship into romance. While dedication can be admirable, there are moments in life when wisdom requires us to recognize reality instead of resisting it. Not every connection is meant to become a romantic relationship. Sometimes two people genuinely care about each other, but the emotional attraction exists only on one side. This does not mean that anyone is wrong or that someone has failed. It simply means that human emotions cannot always be forced or redirected to effort alone. Attraction is complex, and it often grows naturally rather than through persuasion. The painful part is that many individuals continue investing their heart even after it becomes clear that their feelings are not returned. They remain close, hoping that one day something will change. I watch the person they care about pursue other relationships, listen to stories about other romantic interests, and quietly carry the weight of unspoken disappointment. Over time, this situation can become emotionally exhausting because the heart keeps hoping while reality continues to say something different. This is where the courage to walk away becomes important. Walking away does not mean anger, bitterness, or resentment. It means acknowledging your own emotional needs and choosing to protect them. It means understanding that love should not require you to constantly suppress your true feelings or pretend to be satisfied with less than what your heart desires. Many people fear walking away because they believe they will lose the connection completely. They worry that distance will erase the bond they have built. But sometimes distance is the only way to heal and regain emotional clarity. When you step back from a situation that continually hurts you, you give yourself the opportunity to rediscover your strength and self-worth. Walking away also sends a powerful message both to yourself and to others. It shows that you respect your own heart enough not to remain in a place where your feelings are constantly unfulfilled. You are not rejecting the friendship or the memories you shared. You are simply choosing a healthier path for your emotional future. There is also a deeper lesson hidden in this decision. When you release something that is not meant for you, you create space for something better. Life often brings new opportunities, new relationships, and new connections that align more naturally with who you are and what you truly need. But if your heart remains tied to someone who cannot return your feelings, you may miss the chance to experience a relationship where love flows both ways. Choosing to walk away requires strength, but it also brings peace. Instead of living in constant uncertainty, you step forward with clarity. Instead of waiting for someone else to choose you, you choose yourself. And in many ways, that decision is one of the most powerful steps a person can take toward building a future filled with genuine love, mutual respect, and emotional freedom.